Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. I first discovered I had the ability to predict the future in my dreams when I was 8 years old. I had dreamt one night that my parents and I were on the road, and all three of us needed to go to the bathroom really badly. And in the dream, I dreamt that we pulled into a Kmart, and the three of us made a mad dash into the bathroom in the Kmart. And I woke up and didn't really think much of it. I thought that was a stupid dream. It was so stupid, I decided to remember it because you got to remember, when I was 8 years old, I was probably dreaming almost every night, just like I do today. And for some reason, I decided to hold on to that one because it was stupid. Just a few days later, we get in our car and go to lunch somewhere, go shopping, and on the way home, we needed to go to the bathroom. All of us did, which was kind of weird, right? Usually, usually not everybody in the car needs to go to the bathroom at the same time, right? Although some of it could have been psychological, right? After all, if one person screams bloody murder that they need to go to the bathroom, it could inspire others to think about having to go to the bathroom, right? So we're just all crazy looking for a bathroom. And I look up and I say, "Hey, how about that Kmart over there?" And I said it before I even thought about the dream. It was only at that moment that I realized, oh my God, I dreamt about this a few nights ago. And so I have to be careful these days because if I have a bad dream and I wake up for one of the most upsetting things to have happen is you have a nightmare of some sort, right? A breakup or losing your job or illness or any number of bad dreams that one can have, right? Or you dream that you got embarrassed for some reason. Right? A common one is being out there naked. Right now, usually that's not going to happen. Actually, it did happen to me one time. I'll get to that in a second. You have a dream like that, and then you wake up and you're really, oh, thank God it was a dream. And then a couple days later, the events start to unfold. Right, that's the most upsetting thing. I actually did have a dream where I was caught naked. What had happened was I had gone to I was working at a technology startup, and they wanted to encourage us to be sustainable. So they had a facility for us to shower in the facility, so we could walk or bike to the campus. This is in Seattle, Washington. We could walk or bike into the campus, take a shower, and then go to work. What had happened was I was putting on my clothes after showering, and this guy was just about to spray this uh, deodorant. I know I have bad reactions to. I have chemical sensitivities. It gives me hives. I'm like, could you please wait? I'm almost done. Just 2 more minutes. I have allergies. And it turned out the guy was deaf. I didn't realize it at the time. And he proceeds to spray. And I no, and I grab my clothes and I run out of the locker room. And unbeknownst, I opened a door that led to the outside. I opened the wrong door. In such a hurry to get out of there. And so, but I hadn't dreamt that. I have had dreams where I was out naked, but it wasn't just before that event. So I don't know if we can count that as a prediction. But I'm really excited now because of two dreams that I had. You got to understand, a lot of times I'm not very good with reading people in my dating life. And oftentimes the readings come up in a dream, if you could believe it. When I was working on my PhD, I had met this girl on what was the most popular dating site at the time? It wasn't Bumble at the time, but one of the apps. And we went out for 3 times, and it didn't turn out. And I was kind of disheartened because not because I really liked her or anything, but because it took a lot of swiping before I went out with anybody at all. And I was disheartened that it didn't go anywhere. Let's put it that way. I was 22 years old, and it was my first experience with the apps. And one night I had a dream, and in the dream, I got to see her again. And again, it didn't go anywhere, but I was still excited to see her for some bizarre reason. Well, fast forward 6 months later, she had some kind of a office party, and her boyfriend of 6 months had broken up with her last minute. And she asked me if I could come because she felt embarrassed, having told all of her coworkers that her boyfriend was going to come, and he backs out at the last minute. And I go there, and of course, nothing happened between her and I, but I got to meet one of her coworkers, and we knew each other for about 2 years after that. So that was a good dream that one time. Well, Fast forward now 15 years later, I had two really interesting dreams involving my love life that have yet to play out, but I think they're in the process of playing out. 3 years ago for Lent in 2022, I decided to quit masturbating for 40 days. And I was having a really difficult time. And I was having wet dreams almost regularly I think I had two or three of them during that time. And one night, I dreamt about Polish Idol season one, second place winner Evelina Folinta. I'll let you look up her picture. But I dreamt about her. And so I dreamt that I had gone to visit her in Poland. And so as I was leaving Poland, I learned that I had gotten her pregnant with 10 babies at one time, and she was huge. You think about how much time you might spend in Poland, right? She would have been, what, 3 weeks, 4 weeks pregnant at best, and she was already huge because it was 10 babies at one time. And, and I was just pushing her around in a wheelchair. And for some reason, in the dream, I wasn't concerned too much. I don't think she was very concerned either. In the dream, I was calling home, telling my parents about it. They weren't concerned, and I don't know why. It was only after I woke up did I feel relief that it was only a dream. During the dream, I wasn't terrified or anything. I woke up and I was relieved, and I realized that I had made a disaster in my pants. That's all it was. But then after a few moments after I had collected myself and changed and everything, took a shower, after I did that, did I realize, oh my God, a lot of my dreams end up coming true. A few weeks later, I'm talking to Evelina Folinta. She and I are Facebook friends, if you can believe it. And so, in fact, she was just commenting on the Lego build that I'm working on. So a few weeks after the dream, I was talking to her. And for some reason that I still cannot understand, I decided to drop the L bomb. And so she reacted very positively to it, if you can believe that. It got me really concerned. This is the beginning of that dream. Now, I recently started talking to one of Mary Curry's granddaughters, but a few months before I started talking to her, I had another dream. In the dream, I dreamt about this girl. She was really young, though, not anywhere near Helene's age, but in the dream, the girl would have been at best early 20s, right? She was living in her mother's basement, and she had extracted or made some polonium 210 in her mother's basement and made a bust of Mary Curry out of polonium 210. And so, as a result, everybody had to evacuate their small town. It was all over the news that this girl who was living in her mother's basement had made this statue out of polonium 210. And on the news, I saw the bust of Mary Curry. I want to say it was about 5 to 10 pounds, judging by the size, and it was shooting rays of light in all direction. And I remember thinking, I got to, before the FBI finds her, I got to go find her. I'm really fascinated with this girl. And it was on the news. Oh, it was CNN was playing it over and over and over and over and over again. You know how when there's a big event, like when somebody shot at Trump or something, they just play it over and over and over again, right? In my dream, and in the dream, the government was confiscating bismuth because polonium is made from bismuth, and that's how she had made the statue. And so they were coming door to door confiscating people's bismuth, and the feds came knocking on my door. Sir, I see my records show you bought 5 tons of bismuth these last few years. I'm like, oh yeah, did you hear last month I got really sick with long COVID? I was unemployed. I had to spend most of it down. Here you go. I got like 2 bars left, and I gave it to the agent, and he took it, and he just accepted that was all the bismuth that I had. And I was, after I shut the door on him, I laughed out of control. And I turned on the news to find that somebody had stolen the polonium statue of Mary Curry. And that's when I woke up and didn't really think much of it until I met Helene. Obviously, Helene is a lot older than her mother, than the dream where she was living with her mother. But it occurred to me that she and her mother and her grandmother get along really well, right? She's still working on those chemistry experiments. And that dream might have been a foretelling that I was one day going to talk to her, right? So, but these 2 dreams have yet to play out to their full potential. I can't wait. I really can't. Even if I have to have 10 children and suffer from radiation poisoning, I'll be happy if these 2 dreams play out to their full potential. So please continue to pray for me. All of my dreams have eventually played out. So I think this will be no exception. Even the dreams that I was naked in public played out. It wasn't so bad. A few coworkers came by and we quickly apologized. It wasn't so bad. This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum